Hello, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Elizabeth Juanes, but you can call me Mel. And last week I put together my IKEA MILSBO cabinet, but this week we are going to be setting up my IKEA MILSBO cabinet and turning it into a greenhouse cabinet for my house plants. So stay tuned for that. There are so many ways to put together this greenhouse IKEA cabinet. So I'll probably change things up throughout the month. So if you want to stick around and see the changes I made, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm probably going to still make some changes, but I think I'm good with what I have now. So I'll definitely share with you the products that I'm using. I'll try to link as much as I can below, and hopefully you enjoy the before and after of my IKEA greenhouse MILSBO cabinet. So let's go ahead and set it up together. So first of all, I'm going to try not to show you too much of my plant room because there are some changes being made and also some additions. But anyways, my MILSBO greenhouse cabinet is going to be in this room as well, but specifically, it's actually going to go into the closet in this room. So I'm either going to keep the doors or take them off depending on if I'm going to use them. And there's a shelf up here that I may or may not use as storage. But I have to clear this off or clear it up, and then I have to organize that stuff too. So hopefully the MILSBO greenhouse cabinet will fit right in the center here, and then I'm also going to figure out some helpful storage spaces for all of this plant stuff. So let's go ahead and clean this up, and then we will move my MILSBO cabinet. Okay, so I'm a little out of breath because I just moved everything from here, and I also moved my MILSBO cabinet from my bedroom. I could have waited till the morning, till when my fiance arrived home, but right now it's the evening and I want to get as much as I can done. So I'm gonna move this into here. All right, so here is my IKEA MILSBO cabinet in the closet. It actually looks really good and it fits really well, which is nice. I actually brought back this wood piece because it will help with storage for any plant stuff. And then I also have a little bit of a gap between the wall and that wood piece at the bottom. And just another piece of information, just because I'm obviously documenting this, I will be painting this room and also doing the flooring, but I just didn't want to wait for that to get done in order for this to get done. So I don't mind moving this out when I'm going to do the other stuff. It's just that the other stuff is not a priority. But I wanted to definitely get this set up and ready to go. And then obviously when everything else happens, all I got to do is take out the plants and then move the cabinet. So it's not as big of a deal. But anyways, that's kind of a side note. So I think I'm going to end my task for today because it's for evening for me. So in just a few moments for you, I will be setting up and decorating the cabinet. All right, so let's start talking about my setup. So for my lights, I decided to buy the FEIT lights, F-E-I-T electric, from Home Depot. And the reason why I got two is because I'm only gonna put one shelf in the middle of the cabinet. So I just needed one light for there, and then I just need one light for the top. And this is how I'm holding up the lights. I bought some magnets on Amazon. So I put one magnet and stuck it onto the light. And then I stuck another magnet on the opposite side. And then I have a magnet on top as well. That way it holds it up. They do give you these plastic circles. So I put them in between the magnet and the glass, and then the light and the glass. So I don't know if it does anything, but it's pretty sturdy. And same thing for up here. I ended up putting a magnet and stuck it behind the light, and then there's a magnet at the top of the cabinet. So that is how I am keeping the lights up. Next thing I'll talk about, because it's right here, is the little humidifier that I bought on Amazon. And it seems like it's a good size. It's also white with a touch of black, and you just press this little button and it'll come up from the top, but the cord is connected from the back. Something I do have to remember to say is that I did put the cords in or on the cabinet before putting the doors on, just because it saves you from having to take off the door later, because you just have to make sure that this is flat against the border. That way it fits through. But other than that, like, it wasn't a big deal. It's just I had to have the lights with me and then put the door on, but you could always do it later as well. It's not really a big deal. Next, I have this power bar that I bought at Home Depot as well. It's called, I guess, Geeni, Geeni. This will be the one that I will be using for the cabinet. It does connect to your phone, so you just turn on whatever power source you want on. So the thing is that I'm probably gonna have this up against this corner just because I have to run it to this outlet. So that's why I did the cords outside versus at the back, because a lot of people are doing that. They'll make the hole and then they'll have the power source behind it. So because I'm putting the cabinet into this closet, it's a little different, this setup. Next thing is this little fan that I bought that you can adjust. Again, I bought this on Amazon. So I just bought one for now to see how it goes, but I'm gonna leave it at the bottom or the top. So just kind of exchange it within the top and bottom and see what works best. And worst case scenario, I mean, not worst case, but if needed, I will just buy a second one for the upper lower section. But hopefully one's enough, but we'll see. I'm gonna try it out first. I also bought these clear rectangle containers. I was thinking of maybe putting them on the back. Oopsie. I was thinking of putting them in the back just like that, and maybe putting some moss or some pebbles, and then or just like put some propagation in moss or perlite back here. So I don't know, I thought it was a good idea as a container for cuttings, but we'll see. It's more of a decor piece as well. So I got 2 for the top and 2 for the bottom. So I decided that at the bottom of the cabinet, I wanted to put some sphagnum moss that's a bit damp, and also a little water tray that has these little rock plastic lookalikes. And this will probably help with the humidity in this section since the humidifier I'm leaving at the top. All right, so the next part I did, which may or may not be your style, but for those that have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I love burlap. So what I ended up doing is actually cutting 6 long strands of burlap so it would cover the back, and I feel like it gives it like a wood, warm, even like tree look, which I think is pretty cool. So if you like that, then just cut up 3 strands of burlap and then stick it to the back of the cabinet, and there you go. A little DIY. Okay, so like I said, I have 4 of these, so 2 of them are down there, and for the other 2, I decided to use them as shelves. So I'm putting one here, and I used command strips, and they will hold up to 12 pounds, which I think is overkill, but I mean, if I want to be putting plants here, then it should be able to hold quite a bit. And then I'm going to do the same for the bottom. So these are pretty convenient. I got them at the dollar store. So yeah, check them out. All right, so correction, just when I thought it was overkill, I did test it out and this did fall, and I just had like 2 little or 3 little pots in there. So instead, I am going to do one on either side, and they're 12 pounds each. Again, you may be able to get away with 8 pounds or 4 pounds, but I rather be safe than sorry. So I put 2 12-pound on either side. So here's what it looks like with 4 little pots, and it is staying up, but how cute does that look? And so these are just micans, a Hoya, and an alocasia that I grew from a bulb. So how cute. I like that because you could barely see the shelf and you don't see the command strips, so that worked out. Oh my gosh, I stopped doing what I was doing because I realized that I haven't been filming. I just did a few things. The first thing was that I put some hangers up. So these are just some command hangers. They're 3 pounds. So I was thinking it would be cute to hang like a little propagation in there. And then also I did one at the bottom. And then I did start moving this plant. I'm just gonna start organizing. I'll give you a little bit of an update in just a moment, but I'm just going to see what plants I'm gonna actually put in here, and then we will organize them accordingly. Before I show you all the plants that I have placed in the IKEA greenhouse cabinet, I want to show you one more thing that I'm using. So I bought these plant fixtures on Amazon, and they have like a sticky part on the back. I'm using them for this Hoya because it is vining. So it's helping the plant by supporting it up against the cabinet. So I have one right there, and then I have one up here. So, you know, the longer it gets, the more of these I will start sticking. But I only have 2 there, and it seems to be super helpful, and it's not flashy. You can barely even see it. So that's another idea if you want to use these things, but I will leave a link below if you are interested. So yeah, I thought that was a good idea. And I almost completely forgot to add this to the list. So I did buy a humidity meter, but I do have a confession to make. I did drop it in water. So I don't think the humidity is actually that high or that wet as it says. So I am gonna buy a 2-pack on Amazon that's on sale. So you can definitely find a variety of options for humidity meters. This one shows the humidity temperature, the actual temperature, and it lets you know kind of, if it's good or not. And then there's a little stand, and there's also a magnet as well. Now the IKEA cabinet is not magnetic, only the top and the bottom. So I'll figure out a way to hang it on the side or something, but for now I have it here because obviously I have to change it out. But yeah, so that's something else to add to the cabinet. All right, so I'm going to record something because honestly I could be here all night just reorganizing this. So the IKEA cabinet honestly looks bigger than it actually is. So you're definitely creating like this jungle vibe. I'm not really a big fan of my plants touching each other, but I mean, it's inevitable here in the Greenhouse Milsbo IKEA cabinet. So I'm just gonna give you a little bit of a tour of what I have so far. So in the front here, I put my jades, satin syndapsis, a little neon pothos, I think it is, and an elephant ear alocasia, and then I have my philodendron gloriosum here in the front. And I think it's cool because gloriosum are crawlers, so I think it's nice that it's being covered a little bit. And then in my philodendron McDowell, again, same thing, it's a crawler, so I think it's okay that it's kind of under the Monstera Thai constellation. And then I have this little cutting holder. I just grab some twine, and it's in a little yogurt container that I just recycled or reused. Yeah, so that looks pretty cute. And here's my Monstera Thai constellation. I'm kind of nervous about it being so close to the light. I do have a sheer piece of curtain that I'm debating on using. Let me know what you think. I would just basically hook it on all 4 sides. I may use it and then slowly transition the plants. I may actually put a clip in here of what I mean. So here's what I'm talking about. This is kind of like the future me. I'm just inserting this clip because I decided to do this. So like I said, I bought a sheer curtain. As you see here, I cut it to where I felt comfortable, where it wasn't too small, because I could obviously cut it smaller but not bigger. So it is draping a bit, which I don't mind, but I guess what I'm trying to do here is provide some sort of a filter for the light, because I don't think my plants are used to this bright direct light essentially. But again, I don't know if it's actually doing anything. I used the plant fixtures on each corner, so I just made a hole in the curtain and now it's hanging. So it kind of looks pretty cool. But let me know what you think. I'm gonna keep this on for now and then see how the plants acclimate to the greenhouse, and then maybe I will take it off or maybe I'll leave it, so who knows. This looks pretty cool, and I think it's gonna help the plants to transition into the greenhouse. But anyways, other than that, I have my philodendron melanochrysum, which is gonna be crawling upward. I did take off the shelf because, full disclosure, it kept falling off, and I'm not too sure why, because the shelf down there only has 1 command strip and it's holding on longer. Hello, it is future Melissa again. So my fiance and I, we figured out how to hang this little container and make it a shelf. So we actually had some extra screws because I'm not using all of the shelving for the cabinet. So it did come with some extra screws. So I'm using that to support the little container, or to hang the container. And I just made sure it's just equal on either side. So that should be good. I'll just make sure that I have equal weight on either side. That way it doesn't kind of start tilting. Or I'll put a command strip on either side just for that extra sticky part. So yeah, we were able to figure it out. And then I have my Anthurium clarinervium behind here, and then I have the little humidifier here, And down here, I've actually made a few changes since the last clip. So I decided to put 3 plants on the top to see if that holds. Again, this one only has 1 command strip in the middle and it's holding longer than the top one did. So I'm not too sure what happened to the sticky parts with those. But anyways, so Hoya, Alocasia, and then down here an Alocasia, Syngonium, and then a wet stick of a Syngonium, I think. And then over here I have my Cebu Blue that is also being supported by one of those plant fixtures, which I find helpful. And then here is my variegated string of hearts, which again, I'm using the hanger from Command and some twine. So that looks super cute. And then I have my Hoya that is vining upwards. I have a Syndapsis Trubii Moonlight. And I actually decided to leave the water tray at the front. That way it's easier for me to refill. And then I actually put these in the moss container because I figured as opposed to me putting 3 different saucers, I can actually use the container as the saucer. And then there's the fan right there, which I have it angling upwards. So I think that looks cute so far. I'll probably have to buy some plants to place in the back or go downstairs and see if there's any other plants that I could put in here. But other than that, I think that's good enough for now. And like I said, I'm gonna have to figure out something with that shelf because I wouldn't mind putting one right there, although I do have my Melanochrysum there. I'll have to move it, and then if I do get a chance to secure the shelf for the top there, then I will. My pots are in little clear containers as saucers or like little cover pots or clear containers. So I think that's one thing I could start doing is making it look more organized and more, I guess, color coordinated. But yeah, so that is my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. Let me know what you think. So I hope you enjoyed going through this process with me. Like I said, I'll link as much as I can below. If you want to provide me also some recommendations or some suggestions, you can leave them in the comments. But I think I like the cabinet for now, how it is. I love the idea of where I put it, how it looks. So I just love going through this process with you, and I hope you enjoyed it too. So take care, and I will see you soon.